Many, many years ago, Morton and Esther Gold just sort of walked into our synagogue to join us for services. Being the humble people that they are, it took us several weeks to find out their stories. And I was blown away to find out that Dr. Gold had been a Jewish music composer for his entire life, a musical conductor, the head of music at Nassau College when Nassau College was here. And at the time that I started to do cantorial school, I also started to sing more of his music because it's not easy music. And yet, for me, it's very exciting. Because no one had ever written about him before, he was the subject of my thesis. And I learned a lot about his background, his music, and him. It was a wonderful experience. One of the things is that every time that he composes, he's really not sure where it comes from. It comes to him. And it really shows in his music to me. One of the things I love about his music is it's a different take on some of these prayers than I've ever heard before. And a modern twist to the music that opens up the prayer even more than I'd ever thought. It just is a beautiful thing when it happens for me. So we have been using some of his melodies in our services, but there's also a couple here that you haven't heard before that we haven't used in services because they're psalms or they're not in the prayer book. One second. Okay. The way to worship in the Jewish religion when the temple existed was through a service and a sacrifice. Once the temple no longer existed, prayer started to be put together. It was more spontaneous before that, but it started to be set down and it started to be more of a form than it was before that. And along with that also came the music for the prayers. When Dr. Gold looks at a prayer, he thinks about what it means. He really studies the Hebrew closely, and he tries to translate that with the music. It's like he tries to put that in the music, the meaning of the prayer. So in the 1800s, there were cantors who were also opera singers, who were very talented, who brought amazing music into the synagogue. I was surprised to learn, and I started cantorial school, that people's ideas of what's a traditional tune for a prayer in their synagogue is usually the prayer they heard growing up. But none of these prayers came from God or Mount Sinai or anything like that. They were all composed. So we have many prayers now in our service that were composed in the 1800s that we still love so much that we still use them. But then what happened is people were not so familiar with cantorial music anymore. Many people of my generation didn't grow up with it in their synagogue, but they did go to camp. So they wanted to bring camp music into the synagogue because that's what they were familiar with, not the cantorial music. So camp music is a very different genre, and it doesn't always meet the needs of the prayer. It meets the needs of the person who's singing to feel connected. And so this is a little different in its intent. Its intent is to bring out the meaning of the prayer. So if you want to look at Shalom Aleichem, I don't think you have an English translation, so you'll just have to, Shalom Alechem, peace be with you. Peace be with you. The angels of Shabbat are coming to spend some time with you. It's a very holy time. And I just want to make sure we're ready for it. Shalom Alechem, as you've never heard. Sorry. Shalom, shalom Alechem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, Mi-Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, Mi-Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Seirchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, Mi-Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu. We have incorporated into our Yizkor service for Yom Kippur and whenever else we do Yizkor, a song called "Oh Make an End." It's one of those things that's not in the prayer book, but it's a very moving piece, and it's all in English. It has different moods to it. There's a mood at different parts of it, as you will find later on Psalm 8. It also starts to give you the feel of Dr. Gold doesn't write accompaniment as much as he writes another voice. In other words, the piano or the organ goes with the voice part. They play together sometimes. And that's different than just accompanying a singer. So. Oh, make an end. Oh, make an end. An end of bloodshed by man, and wash the stain away. El Melech who sits upon the throne of mercy. Hatanu surenu salak lanu yotzrenu. We have sinned, O rock. We have sinned, O our rock. Oh, do forgive us, O our Maker. Psalm 8 is our next selection, and this is the one that really has a lot of moods to it and a lot of play between voice and piano organ. It was written a long time ago. Long time ago?
Anytime before this year, the one.
Anytime before this year is a long time ago, okay. Okay. O God, our God, how exalted is your name in all the world. Out of the mouths of infants and children, your majesty is praised above the heavens. You have set up a stronghold against your adversaries, to quell the enemy and the avenger. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, the moon and the stars you have set in their courses. What is man that you should be mindful of him? The Son of Man that you should seek him out. You have made him but little lower than the angels. You adored him with glory, glory and honor. You give him mastery over the works of your hands. You put all things under his feet, all sheep and oxen, even the wild beasts of the field, the birds of the air, the fish of the sea, and whatsoever walks in the paths of the sea. exalted is your name, your name in all the earth. If you look at page 41 in your prayer book, you'll see the Hatzi Kaddish, the half Kaddish. And it's a benchmark in services. When one section is done, you do the Kaddish, and you do another section, and you do the Kaddish, and you keep going. And it's a praise. It's praising God. So it's not like a camp sing-along song. It's a serious song, and this composition recognizes that. Yit Gadol v'yit Kadosh Shemei Rabbah B'alma divrach yirutei V'yamlich malchutei B'chayekun uvyomekun Ufhayed kol bet Yisrael B'gala Uvisman karim v'maru amen Yehei Shemei Rabbah mivarak le'olam u'lamei almaya Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitala Shemei Dekudesha Barichu Le'ela min kol bechata v'shirata tushbecha v'nechemata tamiran bi'alma v'yimaru amen. Page 62 is Vishamro. And there's all sorts of tunes for Vishamro. And this is Dr. Gold, one of his. Vishameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat barit olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam השמיים ואת הארץ. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש וינפש. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. Now I'd like to invite the rest of the choir to come up. This is one of those compositions that when I heard it, I'm thinking, it's so beautiful, but it's so simple. That's the key, I think. And when Dr. Gold wrote the Prayer for Peace, or Oseh Shalom, it can be sung in English or it can be sung in Hebrew. But we decided to sing it in Hebrew for you. It also was written for a choral ensemble, not just our little choir, but actually for voices that would accompany the Cantor, which was very popular years and years ago. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, Uyaseh Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, ve'yimeru amen.
Oseh Shalom b'mromav, Oseh Shalom b'mromav, Uyaseh Shalom v'al kol Yisrael,
Okay, don't stay here. We're going to do Adon Olam. Adon Olam, it's in your program for the notes, and it's in your book. On what page? I don't know.
112.
112, thank you. It's in your book on page 112, which we're going to need for the other words.
Right. The words are there.
Do we need this?
Well, the other words are actually on this.
Oh, oh, yes, and it's not in their program, yeah. Would you rather read this?
Yeah. I know the music. Do you know the music?
Yes.
Okay. 1 second. There. Okay. Yes. Please sing with us. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'Terem Kol Yesir Nivra
ve'im